Today we're going to talk about a recessed articulating arm mount for a television. This is going to be in my gym, and I wanted to get this thing as flush as possible to the wall, but still be able to pull it out from the wall, and maybe when I'm working out, be able to tilt it, pan it, and everything. And this thing is great. It fits really flush to the wall, and when it's up there, it doesn't even look like it's on an arm or anything. I couldn't find any instructional videos on this, so I decided to make my own. If you want the link to this recessed arm mount, I'll have it in the description of the video below. But you guys can take a look here. It's got this nice box cut out. This is a 16 on center box, meaning you will have to have two studs, 16 on center for this box to actually go in correctly. And the entire arm mounts inside of here, making it completely flush when you're done. And we'll get into the video. There's a couple things you need to watch out for. I'll explain all that. And let's get into the installation. So let's go ahead and take a look at what you actually get inside the box. And there's a couple things in here, a couple different pieces. You're going to obviously get the box that goes inside the wall. On the left side there, I have wings. Those wings are going to be for this plate if you have a larger TV. I only have a 32-inch TV. I actually don't need those wings there because my TV fits this bracket no problem. They give you all the screws to attach to the back of the television through this bracket here. This goes to the TV. It's got 4 bolts on the back side there. Those 4 bolts go into those holes. The top 2 just slide down to make it easy to mount. Inside the box here too, there are knockouts for your different electrical boxes. I'm going to have one here. This is just one of those blue, they call them old work. They got the little wings on them, so I'm going to push that through, and then that's going to stick in there. And then I've got another low voltage one that I'm going to put in there eventually as well. So that's what's inside the box. Let's go ahead and get this thing installed. Now what you're going to want to do is find exactly where you're going to place this in the wall. This box is 14.5 inches wide. It's only meant for 16 on center studs, so you need to make sure your studs are 16 on center, not 24 on center, or this is not going to work for you guys. Find your studs. You can just use a regular stud finder. There's one here, and then I've got another one over here somewhere. There it is. And basically what I'm going to do now is I am going to measure up, and I want to be to the top of my box about 77 inches. I'm going to find those 2 points real close to my stud, one there and one over here. I'm going to take my level. I've got a 2-foot level, and I'm just going to draw a line, and that's going to be the top here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drop down 13 inches because that's the bottom of the box. Bam, bam, draw my line, cut it all out. So I got my top, and now I've got my bottom line drawn, and a good check is just go, when after you draw your lines, make sure it's the same 13 inches on both sides there. And I mean, you can connect these down, but really what you're gonna do is you're just gonna ride the stud with your drywall saw coming down. So it's up to you if you wanna actually draw those lines in or not. So I just used my drywall saw right here, and I cut out the piece of drywall. Now, I always like to save these just in case you gotta move something. If you got the room for it, store it. It'll make patchwork a lot easier. All right, and I just got this into the wall. It was really snug, so I just had to keep hitting with my hands around the edges, and eventually it went in. Remember, your studs are here. Hit that side. Don't hit top and bottom because you're just gonna go through the drywall because there's nothing in the middle right there. Went in really pretty easy. It looks nice and flush. I like the look of this thing already. Good opportunity here too to check to make sure that it's level in the wall. If you're slightly off, don't worry about it. This has an adjuster on it, and you're probably gonna have to play around with that anyways because this thing from the factory wasn't super level either, the arm. But just make sure you're in the middle, close enough. And we're gonna go ahead now, and I've got a 3/16 inch drill bit, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pre-drill these, and then we're gonna use the screws that they gave you to install them. And when you're drilling those, you're on the side of the stud, so it's only 1.5 inches thick. Don't go crazy with the drill, just in case you get electrical or something else on the other side, you want to be poking through that. After we got that drilled out, we're going to go ahead and put our bolts in here now. I'm just using a 3/8 inch driver, and we're going to screw them in. And there we go, we got our 4 bolts all in place there. And let me just show you guys one thing around the back. The back side of this is actually my utility room, so I have access to it. Okay, so this is the back side of the box when it's installed, and I have to point out those screws are a little long there. I don't know why they give you such long screws, especially since we're going into the side of the stud here. They're 2-inch screws. If you're worried about this, worried about hitting any electrical, I mean, the electrical should be in the middle where you should be okay. But if you are worried about this, I would go ahead and pick up some 1.5-inch screws, so that way you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, just a little long there. And now we're gonna go ahead and install our electrical. Before you put this box in, you're probably better off running your electrical wire, or maybe even when you're, before you put this into the wall. Hopefully you have an outlet down below, something like that, where you can wire it off of really easy. But I'm gonna go ahead now and just tap this in because it is a tight fit. And it's in, just some light tapping, really wasn't anything crazy, just light tapping around it, and it snuck in there pretty good. And now we're gonna go ahead and turn our screws just to make sure that our wings catch, but this thing's already not going anywhere. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I actually have another outlet on a different circuit than my treadmill in my utility room. So I'm gonna pigtail this new outlet right off of this old outlet that I have back here. Okay, we're all pigtailed off of our outlet here, and let's go work on the one that's in the box. And I just finished the outlet here. I just went with a regular outlet. This one actually has USB ports on it, just in case you get like a Fire TV or something. I could have went with a recessed outlet, and I actually was gonna do that until I looked at the cable that my TV has, and it actually has a right angle on it. So that was actually gonna be really tough to get into a recessed outlet, so I went with a normal one here. But that's kind of your options. And there it is installed. And we're gonna go ahead and put on our bracket now. When you're doing this, just make sure that the holes are horizontal. That's the way that it lines up to the bracket. If you go vertical, the 4 pegs there won't fit on. So just find the screws and the washers that fit your TV style and tighten it up. And we're gonna go ahead and hang our TV now. So I've got my bracket mounted at the back, nice and tight. I'm gonna go ahead and line it up. And it might be tough to see, but I've got the 4 bolts in. And we're gonna go ahead and put the nuts on. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tighten them up. Tighten them up, and let's see how it looks. Let's test for level. And we were actually perfect on that level. Okay. What I do now want to do is tilt this down a little bit. The back of the TV is not actually flat, so it's causing it to kind of go up. It does have a tilt on it, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust that down, and then I'll give you guys the side profile shot of it. And this thing is super easy to tilt. So there's a lever right here. If it's jammed all the way up there and you can't loosen it, you can actually pull it back. It's on like a little spring. You can move it back, and then you can loosen it up that way, and then you can tighten it kind of the same way. So just get it wherever you want it and tighten it up. Okay, we have this thing all adjusted, and you can see that we are nice and flat. If I give you the side profile view, see, no wires, no mess. Thing goes as close as possible directly to the wall. And if we pull it out now, take a look, and there are our cables, everything hooked in. There is that cable guide right on the side there. I just ran everything through there and then zip tied it. We have full motion, and I can very easily push this thing back and get it back again. Nice and flush. And there you have it. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate. Reach out, leave a comment below, and I will get back to you. Thanks for watching.